Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We discussed the 8th chapter of Gita up to 16th shloka. In the first 16 shlokas we have seen how Krishna answered the 8 questions of Arjuna. Kim tad brahma, kim adhyatma, kim karma, purushottama. So all these terminologies of Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhiyajna, Adhidaiva, Adhibhuta, all this Krishna has defined, and at the end Krishna began elaborating on the way a person gives up one's body decides his future destination. So he elaborates on that topic. If one remembers Krishna at the time of death, one goes to Krishna Loka. If one happens to remember something else, he will attain that kind of destination. So to be able to remember Krishna at the time of death, one should practice, one should do abhyasa of remembering Krishna by chanting his holy names and doing various services throughout one's life. And later Krishna also described how one can remember him through Yoga Mishra Bhakti. And he elaborated on Shat Chakra Yoga. Later he started describing how one can remember Krishna at the time of death and throughout one's life by pure devotional service, not Shat Chakra Yoga and all that. So by Kevala Bhakti. Ananya Chetaha Satatam Yomam Smarati Nityasaha Tasya Aham Sulabhaha Partha Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha. It's very easy to attain Krishna by following Bhakti Yoga, by constantly remembering Krishna. Then Krishna said that if one can remember Krishna in that way, the 15th sloka he says, there will be no rebirth. A person who practices Krishna consciousness and remembrance of Krishna throughout one's life, and at the end of one's life he attains Krishna, for such a person he need not take birth again in this planet. But apart from Krishna Loka, whichever Loka you attain, there is rebirth. So in the 5th sloka of this chapter, Krishna said that if you remember me, you will come back to me. And in 7th and 8th slokas he said, to be able to remember me at the time of death, you should have a practice of remembering me throughout one's life. In the 6th shloka, Krishna said, if you remember something else other than me, you will attain that thing also. If you are remembering, if you are meditating on high-grade enjoyment in heavens, you can attain heavenly planets. But now Krishna clarifies, if you remember me and attain me, you will not have rebirth. But if you remember something else and attain something else, then you will have rebirth. 5th shloka corresponds to 15th shloka. 6th shloka is also corresponding to 16th shloka. 5th shloka says, if you remember Krishna, you will attain Krishna. 15th shloka says, if you attain Krishna, there is no rebirth. 6th shloka says, if you remember something else and attain some other planet. 16th shloka says, whichever planet you attain, you will come back to this world. 5th shloka is what? Antakalecha mameva swaran muktva kalevaram. Then 15th shloka, mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalem shashvatam na apnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramamrataha. By attaining Krishna, you will not come back again. 6th shloka says, yam yam vapi swaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram. Whatever you remember at the time of death, you will attain that state. But by remembering something, you will attain, say, Brahma Loka, Satya Loka, Patal Loka, this Loka, that Loka. Ha Brahma Bhavanal Loka Panaravartin Arjuna. Mamupetyatu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyati. So Krishna clearly differentiates what is a permanent destination, what is a temporary destination. Temporary destination is that which gives you some kind of residence for some time, and after some time you will be back to this earthly planet to continue your karma. Permanent residence is that eternal spiritual world. Once you go there, you will not come back. So thus Krishna differentiates more between the nature of material world and spiritual world in the next few verses. So 15th sloka says, destination is, if destination is Krishna loka, no rebirth. 16th sloka says, if the destination is any other loka within this material universe, there is rebirth. So what is the difference between material universe and spiritual universe? Krishna says in the 17th sloka. Sahasrayuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano viduh ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janah sahasrayuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano viduh. Sahasrayuga paryantam means 1000 millenniums. So Sahasra is 1000. Yuga is the yuga cycles, Chatur yugas. So 1000 yuga cycles is one day of Brahma. It is also called one kalpa. Okay. Ahar yad brahmano viduhu. Ahar is day. Nisha is night. Ahar nisha you say, right? Day and night. Ahar yad brahmano viduhu. Brahma's one day is 1000 Chatur yugas or 1000 Divya yugas. One Divya yuga or Chatur yuga is combination of 4 yugas. Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. Okay. So 1000 yuga cycles put together is one day of Brahma. Ratrim yuga sahasrantam. A Ratri is also like that. A night of Brahma is also 1000 yuga cycles. Teho ratra vido janaha. Okay. As such, also is the duration of Brahmaji's night. So one yuga cycle is the combination of 4 yugas. I just said it. And 1 year of humans is a day and night of demigods. Means demigods one day means they are 24 hours. Means day means 1 day plus 1 night together. That is 1 day. For them 24 hours of demigods day is our 1 year. Okay. And 12,000 such demigod years is one Chatur yuga. Chatur yuga is 12,000 demigod years, celestial years. So that is 360 human years into 12,000 demigod years. So what is demigod year? Like for us 1 year is their 1 day.
Day night both?
Day and night both. Okay. For us 1 year is their 1 day. So for us 365 years is their 1 year. Okay. And their 12,000 years is one Chatur yuga. Means for us 365 into 12,000 becomes our Chatur yuga. That comes to 43 lakhs 20,000. 43 lakh 20,000 human years. That is one Chatur yuga. And 1,000 such Chatur yugas is 1 day of Brahma. Fine? Like that. And although the residents of Brahma Loka have that much long duration, still there is repeated birth and death. So point is not whether one lives for long time or short time. Point is, after living this long or short life, what is your next life? Will you again take birth, or will you just enter an eternal life where you don't have to take birth again? So, Brahma Bhuvanal Loka, whichever planet you attain in this material realm, in these 14 planetary systems, there is rebirth. The quality of the birth may be different. The duration of the life may be long or short according to the planet, according to the species. But rebirth is there. So it's not worth taking another birth to take a rebirth. So better end this birth and death cycle by worshipping Krishna and going back to Krishna Loka. That's what Krishna is trying to establish here. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease and death. Prabhupada writes, Brahma, however, is directly engaged in service of the Supreme Lord in the management of the universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the laws of nature. And some of them, if they are very elevated souls, if they become pure devotees, they may go back to Godhead also from there. But it's not necessary. 18th sloka. Now Brahmaji's one day is mentioned here. 18th and 19th sloka describes how this material universe manifests and unmanifests at intervals of time. Avyaktayaha sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame ratriagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samyate. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all the living entities become manifest. Avyakta vyaktayaha sarvaha. Avyakta means unmanifest. At the end of Brahmaji's day, all the living entities along with their subtle bodies merge into Garbhodakasaya Vishnu's body. There are three Vishnus. There is Kshirodakasaya Vishnu, Garbhodakasaya Vishnu and Karanodakasaya Vishnu. Karanodakasaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu lies in the causal ocean called Karana Samudra, and from his bodily pores millions of universes emanate. And that Mahavishnu expands himself as Garbhodakasaya Vishnu and enters each of these universes. Within each universe there is one Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. Mahavishnu is one, but Garbhodakasaya Vishnus are millions, as many as the number of universes. And within one universe, Garbhodakasaya Vishnu lies down on the Garbhodaka ocean, and from his navel this universal lotus sprouts, and Brahmaji takes birth on that universal lotus, and within the stem of the universal lotus there are these 14 planetary systems that will manifest. So at the end of Brahmaji's day, just like you go to office, in the beginning of the day, you open your laptop, you open your files, you do this, you do that, and then you switch on your lights, you open your shelf, all that you do. And at the end of the day, again, you close your laptop, you shut it down, and you close your cupboard, you switch off the lights, and then go back home. So during the day there is work, during the night there is no work. Similarly, at the beginning of the day of Brahma, all the living entities manifest in various material bodies, in various material species. And at the end of day of Brahma, all these people are wound up, all the living beings are wound up, they merge back into Garbhodakasaya Vishnu's body. And in the beginning of the next day of Brahma, they again manifest. All the planetary systems also manifest. So at the beginning of Brahma's day, all living beings become manifest from unmanifest state. They are existing. It's like shutting down a laptop. All the files are there. But when you open the laptop without switching it on, you can't see any files working. You have to switch it on. Then the laptop just boots up, and then you open it, and then you double click on the file and think the application starts opening, and then you can start working. Right? So unmanifest state to manifest state happens at the beginning of Brahmaji's day. Okay? And thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged back into unmanifest again. And this unmanifest state is specifically referring to merging of all the living entities within the body of Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. So within Bhagavad Gita the details are very few, but in Srimad Bhagavatam these details are very elaborated, very much elaborated. Next. Bhutagramah sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratriagame vashah partha prabhavatyah ragame bhutagramah sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate. And these living entities, the aggregate of all these living entities, bhutagramah, bhutva bhutva praliyate, they manifest and they again go into unmanifest state. Again in the next day of Brahma they will again manifest. Like this manifestation and unmanifestation or creation and destruction of this material universe happens constantly. Within the universe there is creation and destruction. In the beginning of the day of Brahma, there is creation. At the end of day of Brahma, there is destruction. That is within the universe. And after the lifetime of Brahma, entire universe gets annihilated and everything emerges back into Mahavishnu's body. The universe comes out of Mahavishnu's body and exists or manifests during the breathing period of Mahavishnu. When Mahavishnu breathes out, millions of universes are coming in from his bodily pores. Okay? And that universe exists during the exhaling period of Mahavishnu, and the universe just merges back into Mahavishnu's body or becomes unmanifest when he inhales. And during that breathing period of Mahavishnu, there is one entire lifetime of one Brahma. Can you just imagine what is the extent of the potency of Mahavishnu, who is an expansion of an expansion of an expansion of Krishna. And this within this universe also, within the day of Brahma, there is creation and so many activities. Within the night of Brahma, everything is unmanifest. And this is happening constantly. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. Ratriagame vashaha partha prabhavanti aharagame. Ratriagame, when night comes, everything will be unmanifest. Prabhavanti aharagame. As soon as daytime comes, everything will be manifest. It's like this. The less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets and then again must come. You take this. The less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities or higher and lower planets within the material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they all are annihilated. So at the night time there is annihilation, during the daytime there is creation and other activities. But you see this, Prabhupada concludes the purport in this way. In this purport, Prabhupada quotes Hare Krishna Mahamantra several times in this chapter, in several purports. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in devotional service, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus they transfer themselves even in this life to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. Rebirth does not exist for devotees. Rebirth exists for conditioned souls who do not take to Krishna consciousness. This bhutva bhutva praliyate is applicable to regular conditioned souls. But for devotees, it's like who are doing this ananya chetaha satatam yomam smarati nityasaha ardham, there is no rebirth. Punarjanma navidyate napnuvanti mahatmanaha. The chapter is very simple. Things are little repetitive in this. The chapter is very simple and lucid. 20th shloka. Parastasmastu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yahsa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyat sunavinashyati parastasmastu bhavo anyo. Now 18th, 19th and even 17th also. 17, 18, 19, Lord Krishna described the material world. He described how the living entities or the universe manifests at the beginning of day of Brahma and unmanifests in the night of Brahma. And he also spoke about the duration of Brahmaji's day, how long it is there. It is there for 1000 Divya Yugas, that is called one Kalpa. All that he said. He said about the material world in 3 shlokas. Now in the 20th shloka, he is introducing us to another world, which is spiritual world, which is eternal. Parastasmastu bhavonyo. There is another nature which is spiritual. Paraha, it is transcendental. The material realm is subjected to repeated creation and destruction, but the spiritual world is never subjected to any creation or any destruction. Okay? So, parastasmatu bhavonyo yakto avyaktat sanatanaha. So, it is eternal. There is no question of vyakta and avyakta there. Okay? There is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifest and unmanifest material nature. Material nature is sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest. The spiritual world is always manifest, it is always eternal. Yahasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyastu na vinashyati. When all the world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. When the entire material universe is annihilated, but the spiritual nature, spiritual world remains as it is. It's very clear. Krishna's superior and spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifested and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. So, that is a manifestation of Krishna's internal potency or spiritual energy, and this material realm is a manifestation of Krishna's external potency or material energy. Okay. So, thus there is beginning and end, there is duality in this material realm. In the spiritual realm there is pure bliss, everything is eternal. Avyaktokshara ityuktah tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Avyaktokshara ityuktah. Krishna is elaborating further on the spiritual world, the abode of Krishna. Iti uktaha, it is said like this. What? Avyakto akshara ityuktaha. That spiritual realm, the spiritual world, abode of Krishna is described to be avyakta and akshara. Avyakta means unmanifest. It is always manifest. Why is it called unmanifest? It is unmanifest to our eyes. A person who is in material consciousness cannot see that planet. Okay, it is unmanifest to us. You can see this material world with all these trees and dogs and cats and floor, earth, water, fire, air, ether, all this you can see here in this material realm. But how is the spiritual world? That is difficult to see. Okay, avyakta. Second, akshara. You may say that, oh, avyakta, it is not seen, so it doesn't exist. No, it is eternally existent and it is never subject to any deterioration. That's why it is called akshara. Spiritual abode of Krishna is avyakta and akshara. Avyakta is unmanifest to material eyes, and akshara means it is never subjected to any deterioration like the material realm. But the material realm is kshara and vyakta. Vyakta means it is seen to your eyes. Second, kshara means, vyakta is it is seen to your eyes. Kshara means it is subjected to deterioration. But spiritual world, it is not seen to your eyes, it is avyakta, it is not subjected to deterioration, it is akshara. Avyaktokshara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim. And it is also described to be paramam gatim, the supreme destination of all spiritual seekers, of those who are desiring an eternal life. This spiritual world is the supreme destination. So all the living entities are meant to reach there, to eternally render service to Krishna. If some souls, some pure devotees may want to stay in this material world to preach and deliver conditioned souls, that's a different thing. But in general, the permanent residence of a soul, pure spirit soul, is there in the spiritual world, where he has eternal blissful life. Here there is no eternal blissful life. This is a place which is abode of miseries. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Avyaktokshara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim. Yam prapya nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. Krishna says, yam prapya nanivartante. Once you attain that spiritual abode, nanivartante, you don't have to come back to this material realm again. Say you go to Tapoloka, you may come back to this earthly planet sometime, or some other planet within this material universe. So wherever you go in this material realm, there is rebirth in some other corner of this universe. But in the spiritual world, once you go there, no need to come back. Yam prapya nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. Krishna now adds one more word, mama. It is my planet. My planet is eternal. If you attain my planet, you don't have to come back to this world. That is 20th sloka. Sorry, 21st sloka. Prabhupada writes here. He quotes Brahma Samhita. Chintamani Dham. The Supreme Lord's abode, Vrindavan, is called Chintamani Dham. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshavruteshu Swarabhira Bhipalayantam. A place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, is a place is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand. And there are cows known as Surabhi cows. So this whole series of verses in Brahma Samhita, they are describing the spiritual world. Chintamani Prakarasadmashukalpa Vriksha Lakshavruteshu Surabhira Bhipalayantam. There are millions of cows which are Surabhi cows. They are giving unlimited quantities of nectarian milk. It's filled with so many desire trees. You go to some tree, you ask for something, the tree will give you. Prabhupada says, in this world a mango tree will give you mango, and a pomegranate tree will give you pomegranate. But in the spiritual world, you go to any tree, whether it is fruit tree or flower tree, you ask anything, that will give. The tree will give. They are all kalpataru. Kalpa vriksha. Lakshavruteshu. How many kalpa vrikshas are there? Not one or two. Lakshavruteshu. There are millions of such kalpa vrikshas. Surabhira bhipalayantam. And there you can find Lord Krishna tending the cows. Lakshmi sahasra sata sambhrama sevyamanam. And the Lord is also being served by millions of goddesses of fortune. Govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. That's the abode of Krishna. And Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam. So Krishna is also playing his Venu. Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham. And Krishna has these lotus-like petals. So Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam. He wears a beautiful peacock feather. And he has that beautiful bodily form. Sundarangam, very beautiful form he has. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visesha Shobham. And millions of cupids put together will be defeated in front of Krishna's beauty. He can even attract the cupid also. So like that, spiritual world is very elaborately described in this purport. Krishna describes spiritual world in certain way, and Prabhupada quotes from other references like Brahma Samhita, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and all, and then gives us more information into the spiritual world. And you must have studied in the 3rd canto, 15th chapter, the description of spiritual world, where the residents of Vaikuntha are traveling in golden airplanes along with their consorts. They are constantly absorbed in glorifying Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. And in the Vaikuntha there are so many plants. All of the plants are not envious to each other. They all encourage Tulasi to serve the Lord. And there are so many birds of Vaikuntha. They all encourage even a bumblebee to sing the glories of the Lord. Like that, the entire spiritual world is filled with glorification of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. And it is permanent. It is not temporary. Once you go there, you don't have to come back here. A vivid description is given in Brahma Samhita. And when one attains it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavan, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Goloka planet, Goloka Vrindavan, located in the spiritual sky. So, you want a prototype. The original Vrindavan is there in Goloka Dham, and it descends into this earthly planet also. Vrindavanam sakhibhuva vitanoti kirtim yad devaki sutapadambuja labdha lakshmihi. Vrindavan is expanding the glory of this earthly planet. This earthly planet is so glorious because the abode of Vrindavan Dham exists in this. Okay. So, next 22nd shloka. Krishna gives further details of the spiritual world, and finally he concludes saying that how to attain this spiritual world by Bhakti Yoga. He says, Purushasya parah Partha
Purusha Para Partha
Bhaktya Labhyastvananyaya
Bhaktya Labhyastu Ananyaya
Yasyantah Sthani Bhutani
Yasyantasthani Bhutani
Yena Sarvamidam Tatam
Yena Sarvamidam Tatam
Purusha Saparaha Partha Bhaktya Labhyastu Ananyaya. How to attain the Supreme Purusha in his supreme abode of Krishna Loka? Bhaktya Ananyaya. By performing bhakti. What kind of bhakti? Is it bhakti in mode of goodness or passion or ignorance? Is it bhakti tinged with karma, jnana or yoga? Is it bhakti which is in the mood of artha, jignasu, artharthi, gnani, as we discussed in the 7th chapter? No, it is ananya bhakti. Ananya. Anya means something else. Ananya means nothing else. There is only bhakti in the heart of devotee. What is that bhakti? To please Krishna by sincere, loving, devotional service. That's the only motive of the bhakta. Such a bhakta is called Ananya Bhakta, Kevala Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta. So, Bhaktya Labhyastu Ananyaya. When someone can perform Ananya Bhakti, then one can attain the Supreme Lord in Krishna Loka. Yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Everything is situated within that Supreme Lord. Yasya antah sthani bhutani. Everything that you see in this material realm is situated within the Lord. Antahastha. Yasya antastha ani bhutani. Yena sarvamidam tatam. He is all pervading and he is pervading within everything. Everything is there within him and he is there within everything. How is it so? We have discussed it several times. Like Krishna expands himself as super soul within every single atom of the universe, within every single heart of every single human and non-human species. He is there in your heart, he is there in my heart, he is there in this tree's heart, he is there in the dog's heart, he is there in this insect's heart, he is there in every atom. Thus Krishna is there within everything. And this entire universe is there, is emanating from Mahavishnu's body. And again goes back into Mahavishnu's body. All the planetary systems within one universe, they go into Garbhodaksa Vishnu's body and again they manifest. Thus everything is there within him. When Mother Yashoda saw Krishna's mouth, when Krishna opened it, she saw the entire universe within his belly. So everything is there within Krishna and Krishna is there within everything. Okay. Yasyantasthani bhutani, he is situated within everything and yena sarvavidam tatam, by him everything is pervaded. He is there in everything. Okay. Although he is present in his abode. See, this verse is very informative. Krishna is there in his abode. Okay, by performing Ananya Bhakti you can go there. Once Krishna is there means Krishna is not here. No. Krishna is there also. Krishna is here also. And Krishna is there here within everything, and everything that is there here is within Krishna. And Krishna is there also. So, Krishna expands himself into unlimited forms to do all these tasks. As Super Soul, he is there within everything. As Mahavishnu, he accommodates everything within him. Okay. And as Supreme Lord Krishna, Rama and many other transcendental forms of Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, all these personalities are there in the spiritual world also. How to attain him? By pure bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna. Brahma Samhita describes the supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. All the variegatedness manifest there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. To enter Krishna's supreme abode or the innumerable Vaikuntha planets is possible only by bhakti, devotional service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other process can help one attain the supreme abode. Okay. Eko Vasi Sarvagaha Krishna. In that abode there is only one Supreme Personality of Godhead whose name is Krishna. And there are so many other forms also. Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Hrishikesha, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudeva. All these forms are there in the spiritual world. To enjoy so many pleasurable pastimes, the Lord manifests in so many forms. It's not a confusion as people think. You people have so many gods. You are confused. Who is the God? Yeah, it's one God who manifests in so many forms. The Lord expands himself and manifests as Vilasa forms, and he replicates himself as manifests as Prakasha forms, and he descends into this world and he manifests as various incarnations. And he has so many other demigods who are assisting him. Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Brahma. Brahma assists the Lord in creation. Shiva assists the Lord in destruction. Vishnu assists the Supreme Lord in maintenance. Indra in giving rain. Agni, fire god, and Varuna, water god. Like that, so many demigods are there. They are all universal administrators. They are appointed by the Lord. There is one Supreme God. Yes, there is only one Supreme Lord. He has many expansions and he has many assistants, servants. Thus, with all his entourage, he is managing the whole creation. Okay. Just like a head of a state or a king of a country, or a minister, a state minister, or chief minister, or prime minister, they don't run the show alone. They have so many assistants. They have secretaries. They may invest the power in somebody to do some tasks. So all these are quite common. So if so many people are required and the power is shared within different people for a state management, why not the supreme universal management? The universe also will be managed by the universal government, where the head is the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, Krishna. So that completes the 22nd shloka.